We all make mistakes, and I made a couple of mistakes in this workout, but I didn't let them ruin the workout for me, and in fact I think I did a great workout despite those mistakes. At the end of this video, I'm going to give you some tips on how I managed to overcome my mistakes and how you could put those into your practice. One thing about weight training is that focus is really essential. There's a lot you're trying to do all at the same time. You're having to work out exactly where your body is, trying to think about perfect form, or the position of every muscle and joint in your body, and where the weight is in space. On top of this, you have to count your reps as well. And when you factor all of that together, it makes quite a cognitive load. Today, I was overloaded by also thinking about filming. And so for this first set of bench press, I forgot to put on the 5 kilograms that I needed to make it up to 66.25. So I'm actually only doing 61.25 kilograms here. And strangely, it still felt like the original 66.25 that I was meant to be doing. It felt quite challenging. And so what happened was, when I then did sets 2 and 3 with the correct weight, I ended up still only doing 2 sets of 10. So psychologically, it was still the same amount of weight to me. And that's quite interesting because it was actually much lighter, and you would have thought that I could have got more reps out of it. However, I still reached failure on the last set, so that means that my muscles were still activated despite the dropped weight on the first set. And actually, that dropped weight could have been seen as a bit of a warm-up for the 2 working sets that were still to come. And when I come back for my next push day, what I'm going to do is just add the weight anyway. I'm going to treat this like I hit my 3 sets of 10, and then I will just do the heavier weight. If I'm not quite good enough to do it, then I can always drop the weight, but I think adding another 0.25 would be absolutely fine. So to be honest, I think that having that mistake at this point didn't really ruin anything. I still reached failure on my last set, so this was still a good bench session. But it does explain why concentration is quite important. You do need to concentrate when you're doing weights. You'll notice that I have AirPods in my ears and I'm listening to music, and I try as hard as I can to find music without too much singing and without definitely no speaking in it, because speaking tends to put me off a lot. It tends to make it so much harder to count. When I'm doing these slow reps, I tend to count 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. I'm trying to make sure that I have that 3-second lower. I used to count 1, 2, 3, 1. But the problem was saying 1, 2, 3 every single rep was very confusing for me. It's funny how difficult it is to maintain the count on such a slow rep. And if music comes on with speaking in, it can just throw that entire balance. So being distracted by music is very difficult. So if you do want to listen to music like I do, then make sure the music isn't distracting. And I definitely wouldn't recommend listening to podcasts or anything where you really have to concentrate. I have done that in the past, but that was when I was doing much faster reps. With slow reps like this, the counting is essential. I also think it's important to make sure that you can train without music. So I can, if I have no music, it doesn't actually stop me training. But I know of people who cannot train without music. And if you then lose the music, you can't train. It puts you off. It's another distraction and a reason not to train. I use the music just because I enjoy it, and it makes going to the gym really fun. And if I don't have the music, it doesn't stop me. But it's basically one of those things where I treat myself to the music to enable me to do something hard. But I still enjoy that hard work. It's very important that you love what you do. So don't make it onerous. Don't make it something that you can't enjoy. But then make sure that when you do go there, you're able to do it for itself, that you don't rely on the crutch of the music, because that will just stop you in your tracks. There are a number of reasons why this session was actually challenging for me cognitively. So I didn't get much sleep. I woke up at 3:30 a.m. and couldn't get back to sleep. Also, the UK is currently going through a bit of a heat wave, and it was a very warm day, and obviously it was very warm in the night as well, so I don't think I slept very well. Plus I was probably worn out from the day before. And also for the last 2 days I just ate less. I think the heat maybe made me not want to eat. Maybe it was that, you know, I just didn't track it properly. I know that we didn't have onions, for example, to put in the meal. Certain ingredients were missing. I was cooking something I don't normally cook, and I didn't track it as I was cooking. Instead, I tracked it afterwards. Found that I was under calories, but I just left it. I just thought I'm not actually very hungry. But therefore, I think whilst my training went quite well, most of the exercises were fairly good. But the overhead press was an extra 2 kilograms, and that was quite good as well. I was happy with that because I'd added those 2 kilograms and I only lost 2 reps at the end. So it was 10, 10, 8. And that's fine. If you're adding weight, you're going to drop a couple of reps and then you make those up till you get to the next weight. So I was happy with that. But cognitively, I was not really focused as much because I was tired and hot and probably hungry as well. So you can see I really struggled with that final rep on the dips. Now, when it came to lateral raises, these were going really well and everything was great. But then on the second set, I actually started to have doubts. I thought to myself, have I actually started the video recording? And that threw me. I lost count and I started to think, well, did I get to 4 or did I get to 5? And I didn't have a clue. So I decided to just keep going. Now, this is a really important thing. If you lose count, what do you do? Because if you're focused heavily on the numbers, if the numbers mean so much to you, then it can derail you. You think, well, I don't know now, so I might as well stop. However, don't stop. What I did, as you can see here, is I did 11 reps. So when I was trying to work out whether I'd done 4 or 5, I decided to go for the lower number, because if I chose 5, the higher number, then I would have done 5 more reps, but had it been 4, I would have only done 9 and stopped. Whereas choosing 4, I do 6 more reps, and if it is 4, then that's great, that's 10, and if it was 5, then I've done 11. And then what you can do in that situation is use your body as the indicator. So let's say that you went to do it and you were actually about to do another rep, 11, and you literally couldn't do it, then you know to stop. And you can track that as 10. You can just say that's 10. If you're not filming yourself so you can look back, just assume that was 10. You reached failure. So that is the strategy. When you lose count, pick the lower number. If you're in doubt, choose 4 over 5 and then make up those losses. And at any point, listen to your body. If you get stuck, if you can't do it, you stop there and you track it at what you think the number was. Because you're going to be coming back to this anyway for your next training session. And if you've added more weight, but it's not too much weight, then it will just be slightly additional challenge for you. And that's not a bad thing. So don't worry about making these small mistakes. Just let things happen. If you make a mistake, don't let it stop you in your tracks. Finish the set. Let your body tell you where you are in the set. And if you do have a count in mind, but you think it's either lower or higher, pick the lower number every time. And maybe if you're filming like I was today, perhaps don't try to do it on 5 hours of sleep with very little food during a heat wave, and then you might not forget to add the extra weight plates. But even though I felt like that, this session was actually really good. I managed to get an extra 5 seconds on my dead hang, and I also did it more active. I did scapular retraction and I lifted my knees. But all that aside, what do you think? What do you do when you make a mistake? How do you deal with it? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.